if they're worth anything, they believe the team is theirs. Donovan felt the Eagles had because he had been there the longest.
He had.
That was his team.
Yep.
Although Baker's only been there, this will be his second season, Baker believes that this is his team.
He does.
He does not want someone coming from outside disrupting. So I think the problem's going to come, and like I said, the locker room will be fine, is that what happens when Odell doesn't get the amount of passes, or he doesn't get the touches, or he doesn't get the throws that he thinks he should get? How does Baker handle that? Because like you said Baker won't back down. Well, at some point, Eli was like, okay, I hear you, Odell. Let's try to get you the ball. And he's going to try to force feed him. That's not what Baker's going to do. Baker's going to be like, nah, Jarvis was open. I'm throwing to Jarvis. Or Callaway, or Higgins, or Njoku. So now...
A lot of choices.
Yeah, exactly. So now Odell is on swole. Now what are you going to do, Skip? Because here's the thing, Skip. Think about this. You cover the games for 25 years. Name the team that's gotten rid of a receiver with this kind of ability at 25 when they just gave him a contract.
Never happened.
So that's got...
I don't have a problem. I understand why it happened.
Yes.
Because the Giants finally decided more trouble than worth. That's what they said about T.O. in San Francisco, and I was covering the team. I got it through Terry Donahue, the GM. More trouble than worth.
And Skip, you eating $16 million. I was reading the story. You saw the story. The Giants with all that dead money on their cap. Like almost $70 million bucks of dead money. Skip, look, we done gave you a big bonus, but you got to get up out of here. Okay. We done. We tired, Skip. We can't do it anymore. That doesn't happen. So
I still say, if Odell goes off on the field, he goes over the edge the way we saw him do regularly in New York.
Yes.
I think Baker has a better chance to go pull him aside and put both hands on both shoulder pads and say, stay with me. We're going to win this game, and we're all going to be happy and go out after the game. And he'll get through to him quicker or more effectively than Eli ever tried to do. Yeah. That's just my gut feeling on Baker.
We're going to win the game. He said, but yeah, I know we're going to win the game, but I want to win it. I want you to throw me the game-winning touchdown.
It helps. They will have had drinks the night before. That's what's going to happen.
You know what?
So at least you got that connection going.
Skip, you know what?
Chemistry's there.
Yep.
I'm looking at you, Skip. You wanted to go well so bad, but deep down inside, you know what's going to happen. You know it because you.
It's going to happen. It depends if it gets corrected by this guy. What's he wear? 6? Number 6.
Freddie.
Number 6, break through and say, Odell, just hang with me. We got this. We got this.
You know,
well,
Baker,
Eli was like, Odell, can you hang with me?
I don't think he said anything.
The last couple years, it feels like a different team.
Yeah.
So Odell and Baker.
And by the way, just to refresh everybody's memory, Jarvis is like brother close with Odell, so you got that going for you. And the receiver coach was their receiver coach at LSU. Right. And for a year, Odell's in New York. So you got all kinds of new support system that you had none of in New York.
Okay, then what happened when Odell started getting all the ball? What Jarvis going to say?
I think he would be more likely to say, I'm good.
Okay. And hopefully their relationship is deeper than that.
Yeah.
That they can play off of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to revisit this probably around week 3, week 4.
You're worried about all the personalities.
No, I always make sure Skip. We're going to revisit this.
Okay. Different quarterback, equally big personality, Johnny Manziel. Well, he's on to another league. He was signed by the Alliance of American Football and was claimed on waivers by the Memphis Express. Manziel was released earlier this month by the Montreal Alouettes of the CFL and was banned from playing on another team in the league. Johnny hasn't played in the NFL since the 2015 season. So, Shannon, what is your take on this situation? People
can convince themselves of anything. You know what, really? I can convince myself that a lion is a really good pet. I can talk myself long enough to say, you know what?
Well, maybe for about 6 months.
That's my thing. You know, I get him if I get him as a cub and I bottle feed him and I nurture him and let him stay in my house and he be around me, he gonna be a good pet.
Yep.
Realize he gonna get to be 500 pounds.
Well, that's what Siegfried and Roy thought, right?
he did. And they were great. That was a great show too, Skip. Skip. He's gonna get as many opportunities because someone drafted this kid in the first round. And he can play. He just needs to be in the right situation. If we get him in the right situation, we get the right people around him, the right coach, and we nurture him, Skip, he can be really good. But where is the evidence in 7 CFL starts? 8 games, 5 touchdowns, 7 INTs.
Correct.
In the NFL, 8 starts, 7 TDs, 7 interceptions.
Okay.
How does 12 and 14 signify that a guy can play? I'm missing something. I know Memphis, Skip, they the lowest in attendance. We got to get a name up in here. So maybe he can run around and spin around and do a cartwheel and do a pirouette and backflip and throw a touchdown, and that'll get bust in the seat. Because at the end of the day, Skip, it's entertainment. And our entertainment value isn't where it needs to be because the attendance is not what it needs to be. So Zach Mertenberger was one of the quarterbacks and Christian Hackenberg. So, it's not like, whew. 5 years ago, Skip, they'd have called me. I could have come in and helped him out maybe a little bit.
Okay. And
then, guess who his coach going to be, Skip?
Singletary.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. Yourself, you can't do it. Can't win with him. I'd rather play with 10.
Oh, boy.
Skip, this is all a ploy. Johnny Manziel, in his starts in the CFL or his starts in the NFL, has shown you no reason to believe moving forward he's going to be anything other than what he's been up until that point.
Yep.
Someone's going to try and convince themselves here it's going to be different. And in their situation, he'll be different. Johnny Manziel is exactly who we thought Johnny Manziel would be. He would struggle because his inability to, if it's off script, like he needs to be a guy that's like, okay, Johnny, just go play. But that's not how football works. They give you plays, they draw them up, and it says, okay, call the play. And if he has to stay on script, the play that was called, he got no chance. He starts running around and pirouette and doing all the other stuff. Okay, but that's not sustainable.
So, speaking of hitting bottom, I fear that my man Johnny Manziel just hit bottom again football-wise. Not off the field, but football-wise.
Okay.
You know how much I love Johnny coming out of Texas A&M.
Yes.
Loved him going into that draft. But I said, if he has any alcohol issues, I'm out. And he had alcohol and drug issues right away in Cleveland. And he was never himself in Cleveland, and it was an all-time disaster. Then he continued to hit bottom off the field while he was living up here with Josh Gordon, and I think they were in somewhere North Hollywood or West Hollywood. West Hollywood, I think it was. Hollywood. In an apartment. And by the way, Johnny and Odell are very close friends, and they used to work out together here in Los Angeles. So he's got a lot of them in him also. He runs with those guys. So I thought, well, maybe Canadian Football League will be a fresh start for Johnny Manziel. And I actually, on August the 3rd, which is Ernestine's birthday, I said, we got to watch a game tonight. We do?
I remember
It's my birthday. It's my birthday. I said, we got to watch Johnny tonight. And she had just met Johnny when I did the Kevin Hart, remember the cold as balls. Yeah, forgive me for saying that, but
hey,
you said it. You said it.
Yeah, I had to.
Yep. So the point was, we saw Johnny that day. We talked to him for like an hour. He stayed and watched the whole taping of mine. Sat with Ernestine, so she kind of got into Johnny, and she said, "Okay, we'll watch Johnny." And what did he do that night? He throws no touchdowns and 4 interceptions, and he was then with Montreal playing his first team, which was Hamilton, and it was just a wipeout. It was 52-11 or something. It was 50-11 was the score.
So it was the Raiders Tampa in the Super Bowl.
It was that. And it went from bad to worse in the CFL. And I told you that I believe he had all these conditions where he had to keep taking tests for his lithium that he takes. And I think he just quit taking, he quit showing up for any of his contractual obligations so that he could go to the Alliance. Because there was no Alliance. Even when we saw him back at the Kevin Hart taping, there's no such thing as it hadn't come into existence yet. So he wanted to come back to the States and play on his native soil. And what team owned his rights? The San Antonio Commanders owned his rights. Why did they own his rights? Because he's from a suburb of San Antonio, Texas.
Sure.
So where would you think in the Alliance he would be the biggest draw? How about San Antonio?
But
well, unfortunately, San Antonio now has the best record in what's called the Western Conference. And Daryl Johnston, who I covered when he was a Cowboy.
Moose.
Big Moose. He's the GM of the San Antonio Commanders.
He said, we good?
And he said, we're good. He said, I'll read his quote. I truly believe that the moves needed to add Johnny to our roster do not make us a better team at this time because they'd have to make a move to
bring him
add him on.
Right.
And so they are quarterbacked by the immortal Logan Woodside, who played at Toledo. He was a seventh-round pick of the Cincinnati Bengals, and they won again yesterday hugely, and so they're off to the races, and that's without Johnny. So he defaults to the Memphis Express, coached by Mike Singletary, who's the absolute flip side of Johnny. Maybe he can talk some sense to him. Maybe he can instill some discipline.
No nonsense.
No. It's the ultimate no.